This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today's video is brought to you by MTGA Assistant, powered by AetherHub.com and Overwolf. They have teamed up to bring you an arena assistant tracker that does a lot more than simply tell you what's in your deck or track your wins and losses. And I'm going to introduce it to you. I've been using it for a few weeks, but I've waited until this sponsored episode because I've made an arrangement with MTGA Assistant to support the channel. So for every person who uses the download link below, it does help the channel. It is a partnership, so hype. So please, if you've wanted to help the channel just by trying out this tracker tool, then please use the download link below. I really appreciate it. I'm going to introduce it quickly, and we're going to talk about a deck. Don't worry, this is going to be as close to like a sponsored ad video as you usually see on my channel. Every day I turn down money from product creators, game studios, God knows how much. I don't know what you see as far as YouTube ads, but I can tell you, I only let advertisement come out of my mouth for products that I believe in and would use. So that's why the only game you've seen being sponsored here is Shadowverse, a game I actually play, Magic, the game I always play, and this tracker, which I actively use. So, just to give you a quick overview of the main menu, the in-game tracker we'll get to when we get to gameplay. Skip ahead if that's what you want. But we've got this sweet menu over here off the menu screen that gives you so much information. Here's deck statistics, and the deck we're going to talk about today is TEMUR Reclamation. And we'll get into the list, but you can pull up the list right here, and you can see the history of your games. As you can see on the ranked ladder, I have a win rate of 16 wins and 4 losses with my build of the deck. And I think it's really cool to look back and see how it happened. I lost my first 3 games playing the deck. Just over. Done. It was an 0-3 deck. And I want to take a minute to highlight this because I take a minute to warm up to a deck. It is not every day that I play TEMUR Reclamation, and it does have a skill cap, and I usually have to play it a few times to get the brain working, and then once I settle in, and you can see here, we can just absolutely terrorize the meta and the ladder. And this was a really fun stream that I did yesterday. Nearly all of this was live. It was really cool. Twitch TV, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Monday through Thursday. There's a link in the description if you want to go to Twitch. But it will also track your drafts. It will let you view stats on all your decks. You can look at your account stats. So this is pretty fun for you competitive types. Win rates by season, 60% win rate in Mythic in season 18. I'm at 54% this season. I'm not surprised that I'm having a harder time. It's a tough season. The meta didn't really change much, but I'm playing a new deck every day, darn it. You can check your recent opponents. You can look at a few specific tools. If you limited players can get into limited ratings that are built into the tool. You can see your progress on your collection for your collecting types and poke around. There's also a crafting tool. I thought this was really cool. For those of you who have a ton of common and uncommon wildcards and nothing to do with them, crafting the stuff you haven't crafted from previous sets before you open it can help you get more vault progress. And this is a way to kind of mass craft stuff. So right there, I added all the commons from Jumpstart. If I copy this, go import it, and then hit craft all, you just craft them all right away. I thought that was really cool. Another cool tool for you competitive types is the rankings. Yes, you can compare your constructed rank and how many times you've won events to other players who use the tool. In my case, here's the constructed ranking ladder. I am right there, number 11, not in the top 10. So your fault, I'm coming for you. And everybody else on this list, you are a target now. CGB is coming for you. For everybody else, there's other things to look at. You can look at the limited rankings, team rankings, which you have to find a team. And then I constructed first Mythic players. So if you're one of those who speed runs to Mythic, you can get yourself on this list here. Oh, look at Ailey. Ailey up there at number 3. Nemesis in limited. Anyway, also in events, you can check out how many people have aced events and how many. So it's like a leaderboard for that, which I think is freaking sweet. So your competitive types can get some fun out of that. And then how about the meta itself? Here's the standard MTG Arena metagame. We have about 15% mono red, about 11.5% Rakdos, the two I'm always so worried about, mono green around 10%, and so on. Also, if you are a net decking machine and you just want to click on this, it will take you directly to an Aether Hub link. You can hit export and you can get the deck. It even tells you, compared to your collection, if you have all the cards or not. I'm missing a card from Sultai? Nah, impossible. All right. We'll see the actual tracker in-game that shows you your deck list when we get into it. And remember, you can support the channel by downloading MTGA Tracker and installing it from Overwolf and Aether Hub. And the link is below in the description and comments, and it supports the channel if you give it a try. Now let's talk about the deck that I went 16-4 with after starting 0-3. This is a take on TEMUR Reclamation, the best deck in Standard. And that was another thing I really wanted to show off, is kind of the difference in metagames. So you see here the Standard metagame with Mono Red, Rakdos, Mono Green, Orzhov, Mardu, Azorius. TEMUR's not even on the top 10. It's such an aggro-supported meta. But when you switch to traditional Standard, you get TEMUR here at number 4, which is still surprising because all these aggro decks are above it. But then when you go to the events metagame and you look at traditional Standard events, there is TEMUR Reclamation, like almost 30% of the meta, which this more represents the tournament metagame that you may have seen. So it's kind of amazing how things change. And of course, this only tracks people who download the client. Aggro players seem to like these clients more. Not sure exactly why that is. Speculate in comments. But it kind of blows my mind that TEMUR is considered the best actual deck in the overall Magic world. It's not even in the top 10 index according, and that's been my finding too. I rarely play against TEMUR in best of 1. So I set out to build a version that I thought would dominate best of 1, and this one is absolutely killing it. And it's all built around the idea that just the key cards. Just the key cards. We actually play 30 land. 30 freaking land. By the way, there's also a sideboard here if you want to try it. I built a sideboard for best of 3. I don't play best of 3, but I thought some viewers might enjoy a sample sideboard if they decide to go there. But yeah, we play 30 land. We play only the spells that matter the most. The Uro, the Storm's Wrath, because all that aggro. Wilderness Reclamation, Shark Typhoon, Expansion Explosion, 2 Brazen Borrowers, because you come up against permanents sometimes that you can't get rid of with Storm's Wrath or an Explosion. And when you come up against those, you need some kind of an answer. But you don't want a bunch of these. Like, you don't want 4 of this, because if you draw 3 Brazen Borrowers, what are you going to do with them? You're just going to slowly cast your Petty Thefts one by one until you die. Because it doesn't actually kill the thing, it just buys you time. So what you use the time for has to be powerful. Growth Spiral, you know about this card by now. And Opt just help you find these key cards. And that's it. The other half is land, and the lands we selected, some of them have utility. Blast Zone, Castle Vantris are key lands. The Triome can be cycled, and it gets cycled a lot in this deck, more than I think any other deck. And 4 Temples of Epiphany, no Stomping Grounds. I found I was often sneaking lands into play with Growth Spiral and Uro, and I didn't need the untapped ability of Stomping Ground. I also found Stomping Ground to be by far my worst land, because I always wanted more blue mana and red mana, and I didn't always want like that green-red combo. Like, not having blue attached to it often came back to bite me, trying to do things like play Uro multiple times, Brazen Borrower, etc. Opt into stuff. You get the idea. So yeah, this is the deck. 16-4 in Mythic so far, after starting 0-3. Heck of a run yesterday. That's on stream. My Twitch, I believe my Twitch streams are currently free to all, so you might check the VOD if you want way more games with this. But this is what we're going to play today and see if the results hold up. So let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. The hand has 3 lands, 4 spells. 2 of these help us fish through our deck for the right stuff. Uro buys time, Wrath hits hard. Jegantha the Wellspring indicates sacrifice, which is a decent matchup for us because we can basically ignore a lot of what they're doing as long as we stay alive and then hit them with giant explosions, which they cannot endure. But it's always a good game. Sacrifice, especially with Dreadhorde Butchers, is very tough. So let's see what the opponent has. Temple of Malice, get that scry. So I said I'd show this off in the game. Over here you have the deck tracker. It shows you're at the very, very top in tiny font that you might have to squint at. It shows you your percentage chance to draw a land. We're at 51.9% at the moment. And it shows you what's left in your deck. 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, etc. And your percent chance of drawing it. And again, if you want to download that, support the channel. Link, description. I like playing the tap land here. Opt gets better when you know what you're trying to find. And we don't know exactly which threats we're going to be up against. We can make some general guesses, but the fact that we're going to Uro next turn, opting for a land and saving the life total sounds pretty good to me. Life total, usually how they beat you is what I call cheesing you out. They just find a way to ping you those last few points of damage, and you die. So I'm always trying to be conservative with my life total where I can. Priest. Priest without help is nice to see. Typhoon, now is not the time. We do want this, but we want it much later. But I could take it now. The problem is if I don't draw land for this Uro, it's kind of a waste. So I am going to bottom it. Reclamation's pretty good draw. There's a land for the Uro. And another land. Like I said, we hit those tap lands pretty often here. Second Reclamation seems unnecessary at this point. I will be looking for a shuffle though. We have 2 really good non-land cards on the bottom. We want to get those back in. Let's see if the opponent just wants to use this Priest. Sometimes they love their Priest so much they just have to fire it off when they play a Woe Strider. But no, they're going to attack. Okay. So we could play Reclamation this turn and get it going, but we don't have much to do with the mana. I'm just going to Storm's Wrath. Set the opponent back now. I could shock with the Opt, but I'm confident I'll have the mana left over to use it pretty soon. So we're just going to play the tap land after this. Judy. Judy's a threat. Good with the sacrifice synergies, but we don't see a cat yet. And she's all by herself. She's sort of like an extra Mayhem Devil. That's a good draw. That's a really good draw. So we can shock this. We can shoot Judith and draw 4 cards. That's pretty solid. That's pretty darn solid. I think well worth the 3 overall total life that we end up paying. Always make sure to mark your end step when using Wilderness Reclamation. And the shortcut, by the way, to float all of the mana in your mana pool is QQ. Be careful with it, but it does work. QQ. Q as in Q, and Q as in Q from Star Trek. What are some Q words? Q as in James Bond's weapon designer. Q as in quiche. Q as in quartz. Q as in quince. Foods that start with the letter Q. White Men Can't Jump. Awesome movie. Guys, I know you want it. I know you want it. You don't have to ask. Let's do it. I often like hard casting the Shark Typhoon in these matchups. Let's get the Fabled Passage done because Mayhem Devil makes the Fabled Passage really bad. But I like hard casting a Shark Typhoon in these matchups and making tiny sharks with the Opt and Growth Spiral because claiming them isn't too punishing, and you just can get this. They're not going to remove it. You know, Rakdos isn't going to get rid of the Typhoon. So if I can get a Wilderness Reclamation and a Shark Typhoon, I'm usually really happy. So you might see me hard cast this more, especially in Best of 1, where people don't have mystical disputes. And they don't get to sideboard in their enchantment removal. The Rakdos deck is saying, dude, I was here to feast on aggro decks. Where did this TEMUR Reclamation thing come from? Yeah, I think people just either don't want to play it in Best of 1 or they don't have a list they like in Best of 1. Most of the lists you will net deck from TEMUR Reclamation have a ton of counter spells, a lot of negates, and a lot of mystical disputes, and they're pretty bad, quite honestly, in an aggro meta if you strictly net deck them. But with a few tweaks, leaning into cards like Storm's Wrath and playing an insanely high land count so that the spells you get are really good spells, thank you, hand smoothing algorithm, you end up with quite the killing machine in TEMUR Reclamation. Now that was a nice monologue. Our opponent spent their turn getting Gigantha, and that's about it. Let's make a shark. They got their elk and they scooped. They took their elk and they went home. I think we found where Oko is hiding, everybody. On the draw, this is kind of a weird hand, but it does Uro into Reclamation with a Borrower to buy time. We could get run over, but we could also draw Storm's Wrath and absolutely be fine. Mono red, but all they've got for turn 1 is Shock. Let's keep this. When you see Ops and Growth Spirals, think of them as Uro food. And against Mono Red, we need to be getting Uro back as quickly as we can. Runaway Steamkin. So I could pay 2 life here and bounce this, and then I could Uro into the Opt next turn. I guess that's the play. I don't know. Part of me just wants to hang on to the Borrower and take my beats from the Steamkin. But it does feel like setting back a Steamkin is a good move. The opponent might think we just have a Growth Spiral, so maybe they'll play some pre-combat stuff. That's gross. That's absolutely gross. Alright, they're going to have infinite mana. We might have some infinite mana, but they do have infinite mana already. They're going to play their whole hand in about 2 turns. So if they have any good cards, we're going to get absolutely run over, unless we draw Storm's Wrath in the top 2. So this is tricky. I can Uro into the Fabled Passage, but if I fetch a blue source to Opt, I do not get the red source for the Storm's Wrath that we need. Oof. Alright, well, maybe we'll draw the island. Or the mountain. That works too. So we can play this, go get blue, Opt into Storm's Wrath, win game. This is mono red, they play mono red. Cast my spells till they're dead. Okay, interesting. Doesn't look like they're going to make the mana this turn. Yeah, this is it, guys. Storm's Wrath. We needs it. I know it seems early and that I still have a good amount of life, but we'll be so far behind if the opponent gets to untap with this board next turn. Oof. I did want that Uro food. Okay. Okay, that's not terrible. That's not terrible. We can buy another few turns by bouncing the Steamkin. One, two, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 left. It doesn't actually do anything, so we'll just... But we do want to do this on our end step. Let's go get a forest. Send that away. They missed the land drop last turn, so they might not be able to cast an Embercleave this turn. We have 4 cards in our graveyard. That's one of the sad things about the Borrowers. While it was nice to draw 2, we kind of needed it, but they don't go to the graveyard. They don't fuel the Uro, and that's a big deal. Oh my goodness, we drew it. Of course it was right when our Borrower is headed to its doom, but oh well, we get 3 points in. I still think you're supposed to play the Borrower there. So, we get to play the Storm's Wrath, float some mana, and then use the castle. And if we do that, see, if we float 2 mana and then use the castle, we still have enough to play the Borrower. Thank you, Storm's Wrath. You did hear our call. You showed up. And now we have cards in our graveyard for our Uro. QQ. Red, blue. Make sure we have 2 blue left over. Use the Scry 2. Looking for the goods. Blast Zone's an interesting one. It's a removal spell disguised as a land. And with an Uro in hand, we can play it. I think I'll keep the Blast Zone. Here's Annex. Annex carrying a sword is one of the ways back into the game, but without more creatures, the opponent's pretty far away from making that happen. Alright, Uro, come on out. We could use more green mana to double Uro, but we don't have the right mana. We only have 2 green sources. We need 3 to double Uro, so please don't ask me to. It's awkward. And now, with Uro Resolve, the opponent scoops, but we drew the Shark Typhoon, so we could also crank out a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Shark that turn as well. For the absolute... I mean, if Uro got him to scoop, the 8/8 Shark is lock it in. You're scooping. We've got 3 key cards, Wilderness Reclamation, Storm's Wrath, and Expansion Explosion, and we have 2 ops to try to find the land to cast them. This Blast Zone is super awkward, but I think we keep this. And we're really looking for land and only land. Red sources in particular, that's a good one. We'll take that. Vicious Rumors, that's not good. Alright, then I'm going to drop off the Storm's Wrath, and they milled an Explosion. So this is some kind of a discard deck. It might also be Rogue. Should I set up to have, like, if the opponent plays like an Agonizing Remorse, do I want to expand it and hit their hand back? I might want to. I'm a little worried about my life total, but we do have an Uro ready to go. I'm not copying that. So, I think I drop off the Blast Zone. I'm going to need to find other lands, and the Blast Zone doesn't cast the Uro. Are you kidding? 3 expansions already? And a drill bit? Alright. What the hell is going on, man? I don't think I copy it. I think that's losing a resource to do something not that impressive. I'm just going to try to find land here. It's been surreal so far. Absolutely surreal. Like, I'm down to 1 explosion if they take this. All in discard. Okay, they've seen the breeding pool, but they're going to see it anyway. Let's play this, play this. If the opponent doesn't exile the graveyard here, we get the Uro back right away, and we have double Reclamation if they use their turn attacking my hand. Once the Reclamation's down, it's much harder to deal with. Like, Mono Black basically doesn't deal with it. Yep. That's gonna... This has been a weird game. They're gonna feel really bad. Alright. Let's check the deck. What's still in the deck? With Fabled Passage, we still have 2 islands. We have all the basics still in the deck, but that's just a habit to get into. I don't think I particularly needed to do it there, but it is definitely a habit to get into. Oh, you're Rakdos. Our opponents hit us with 4 consecutive discard spells to start the game. What are they actually going to play? Let's get another red so that Storm's Wrath off the top is a playable card. Let's scry. Set up something good. More Uro, more Reclamation. I actually don't think... I think I want the Uro, because if they make me discard it, who cares? And we're going to want more, but I don't think I want the other Reclamation. It will just sit there. It won't be good. Yep, eliminate. It'll come back again, especially with the opponent filling my graveyard for me. There's a shark. They could have sorcery speed removal, but having seen eliminate, I think we just make a shark here. It's also going to be bigger than Rankle, which Rankle is the patron saint of discard decks. So having something bigger than Rankle here seems pretty smart. I'm not as afraid of Claim. Like, something had to come out of the deck to play a million discard spells. I'm sure Claim is it. This is one of the most bizarrely old school decks that will never beat TEMUR Reclamation that I've ever seen. It might be able to beat aggro decks if you can hit them with hand, sweeper, but it's never going to beat Uro. I mean, look at this. Look at this nonsense. This hand is fine. This can be a red source. We have a turn 2 Growth Spiral, which we haven't even had today so far. I'll keep it. Do we shock and opt on turn 1? I don't think so. I'm patient with my opt. I'm much more worried about my life total. The deck is really good at finding spare mana. Alright, here we go. Here we go now. Archide Troll, yep. So do I Storm's Wrath just these 2 cards? That's the question. I don't know. Wilderness Wreck, we can get that down. What's our opponent going to do for 3? Yorvo? I mean, Yorvo would be awesome. It's usually the biggest thing they do. Play a Scavenging Ooze? Who cares? So, yeah, let's slow roll the Storm's Wrath for 1 more turn. They could Gem Raise, couldn't they? They could Gem Razor me. But I'll get 2 ops out of the deal if they do. And maybe I can even find a Borrower or something like that. Let's see what happens. Fetching the red was a little bit awkward. It means I can cast the Storm's Wrath cheaply. And it looks like they are not going to Gem Razor me. Okay, they pass with mana open. What the heck is that? Now we're digging for like Shark Typhoon, something to punish that play. What is the card? Expansion Explosion. That would be another good hit. We can keep this. It gives us something to do with our mana. There's only 2 in the deck. If they play Questing Beast next turn, 1, 2, 3. Oh, they could also have a Preserver here, right? So they could go Preserver, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Questing Beast, 11, 12. It's not lethal. It's not lethal. Let's wait a little bit longer. I know some of you aren't going to like this. Maybe I know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm being super greedy. We'll see. But we need to find you-know-who. Expansion Explosion here. So I'm going to put a lot of mana into these scries. And there's no reason right here to spend this mana. Let's just have these available. The opponent without the Wildborn Preserver. Vivian.
I love everything.
Vivian can go on the Troll if the opponent's feeling really smart. Yeah, they're playing around Storm's Wrath perfectly.
My, how you've grown.
They get points from me for being smart. And oh my goodness, this is a lot of land. Alright. The 30 land might flood us out one time. There's Uro though. There's Uro. And we can go up to 12. If the opponent plays Questing Beast, do we lose? It's pretty close. Actually, we don't have a graveyard for that. Let's go for the Uro, see what we draw. So we can shock here, go down to 7. Storm's Wrath, then we die to the Troll. So we're dead. Yeah, I should have Storm's Wrath on 3. I was too greedy. I should know better in this meta than to be greedy, but I don't. Weird. Weird. Opponent played really good though. Put on a clinic of making a 5/5 against my deck, and we did hit a million land in a row, which is going to happen sometime. Growth Spiral on the draw. Okay. No Storm's Wrath, so it's kind of scary. Both basic mountains. This is definitely going to get a forest. And Steamkin is always there. Never fear. Steamkin always here. Brazen Borrower is a good draw, though. We're gonna take this hit. Like I'm not bouncing Steamkin yet, especially for 1. Could copy the Light Up the Stage, but I don't think that's a very good play. Alright. I can Growth Spiral next turn. Actually, we can wait and see if the opponent plays 1 more. Nope. Put a mountain into play, right? That way if we top deck Storm's Wrath, we cast it. Missed. Thin the deck for green? I think so. And I think I'm going to have to draw cards with this explosion. So we're going to borrow this, and we may as well do it now. Now we could copy this here and bounce the champion, but I don't think that's worth it. Torbs, sure. It's a frustrating one for sure, but could be worse. Now, I think we let it go to combat and then explosion the champion. Take 4. Let's see what happens. I could also Growth Spiral and do some other tricks. Maybe just try to hit a Storm's Wrath and take 7. If we let the opponent go into combat though, Embercleave is an option. Okay, now Embercleave is an option either way. I want to make them think about Nightpack Ambusher a little bit. Yeah, they don't care. All right, what do you think? Do we kill this and draw a card, or do we Growth Spiral and try to kill... Let's see, we'll go up to 6, then 7. We'd still be a land short of killing Torbrand next turn. I don't think I can Growth Spiral here. No Infuriate Gamer. Yeah, 30 land, it catches you sometimes. Not gonna lie. Alright, play the toys. We're gonna draw the Storm's Wrath. Yeah, that's a good one to play. That's a good one to play. And that's a lot of land. Okay. Well, not this time. Not this time. Okay, I'm gonna need a different experience from the last two games, but this hand looks ready to give it to me. This hand looks ready to go. Don't feel like we've had nearly enough sharks today. Had so many sharks yesterday. I felt like the sharks have been in hiding. They are an endangered species and all. Not all sharks, but most sharks. I don't know if that's even true. Some sharks. Sharks with spikes flying through the air, they're endangered, okay? Look at that. Yeah, got an opponent who knows the code. Your go. They didn't say hello. They didn't say good game. I love them. All right, let's do this with them tapped out. 3 reclamations. Percentage of drawing land next turn, by the way. 54%. Whiff skis. Facing a goblin arsonist. Alright, come on, land. Got him. We can just set this back now. I don't know what the opponent's playing, but they probably have counters, pump spells, something obnoxious, and this thing has summoning sickness. Arsonist returns. Nice draw. Let the reclamations begin. This is going to be a lot of reclaiming. I'm gonna let the opponent commit something here. I don't think they'll counter the borrower. Maybe I'm wrong, but alright, no commitment. They just wanted the shock back. Play it again. Play it again. I dare ya. Alright. Yeah. Stormwing Entity. Holy crap. Just wait till you see the size of the shark I'm gonna make, though. Do they run Claim the Firstborn? Maybe Izzet should, but I don't think Izzet does by default. Ding, ding. QQ, baby. Alright, let's rumble. There's a Wrath. $30 lands in the deck, by the way. I'm so glad I got the 4th one. We're up to 56% chance I'll draw another land. Opponent will bounce the token. Infuriate. Alright, they're coming in hot. Down to 8 life. Alright. Here's a Storm's Wrath. QQ. Let's do it again. If I had a 5th land, I might do this differently, but as it is, I've got to get deeper into the deck. Shuffler's fine, everybody. Shuffler is absolutely fine. I know where those lands are. They're all in the hand from the last game. We just shuffle. We didn't shuffle. We just put that hand on the bottom and started a new game. You ever do that with your friends when you're in a hurry? When I was growing up, we would do that sometimes. Land found. Do we Storm's Wrath this Arcanist? I feel like we do. Also lets us start the clock. If they have a Samut Sprint, we're in a lot of trouble. It's a weird card to be worried about, but here we are. Let's get the borrowers down. Or we should get down one borrower and then have the mana left over for another or a scry. But this stops a sprinted Stormwing entity. We're 1 mana short of scrying and borrowing there. Ooh, 12? That's a 2-turn clock. Or a 1-turn clock, 6/6, 3/1, 3/1. I was thinking of the borrower, but they didn't have the 2 blue mana to cast it. And that's game. We have to draw red sources, but otherwise the hand is good. We're up against mono red. It's like they wear it on their sleeve. And Blast Zone is good against them, Uro's good against them, Storm's Wrath will be good against them when we fix our mana. This is mono red, they play mono red, nothing but mono red attack base till they're dead. Fervent Champion. We found our red sources. Do it. Play it. Turn 3 Storm's Wrath. We also have Blast Zone, which, if they just play a bunch of 1-drops, could be good. They play the Steamkin. Land. Okay, another red source. I was gonna say fetching 2 mountains with this could be awkward later for getting back Uro. Steamkin makes them want to play more stuff, though. So we could slow roll the Storm's Wrath. The punish, though, is Annex. And Annex will punish you. So yeah, we just set them back. Rip. You guys saw what I did there. Well, Annex for the punish. Let's do it. I was supposed to play this land first. Classic CGB. Hey, Annex for the punish, we'll wrath him again. Mythic gamer, by the way. Don't know how many times I've done that correctly. And the opponent punishes. Don't know how many times I've done that correctly, only to do it wrong in the moment. A moment like this. CGB, you could copy it. I know, I don't want to. This is our card advantage source. I'm trying to hold it for later. Castle Embereth, millions of tokens. Yes, 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 come and get it. Yes. Just wait till you meet Uro. Alright, so below this. This will get us a green source, and then we can cycle the Triome. Robber of the rich. And a scoop without even attacking. I guess they're Uro-wrecked. We have the double Storm's Wrath, we have the Growth Spiral, we just don't have the green source. But there's so many in our deck. We're going to Shark Typhoon into it, or we're going to top deck it like the pro gamer we are. This is mono red. Oh man. You saw it said 15% of meta? That can't be right. This has to be, this is like 30-some%. Obvious. I guess we can see what we hit off this first. Nah, play this, make them think. Mind games. Give them the your go. If they go to attacks here, they don't get a card. So they are incentivized to make a play. They make this play. We could try to Growth Spiral into what? If we hit another land, we could Growth Spiral into that, and then we're still at card even, right? Yeah, whatever. Whiff! 50% land can't Growth Spiral. And it wasn't a land on top. And it wasn't a land on top again! What is going on? The heck, man? Alright. This is gonna hurt. You think our opponent's gonna Ember Cleave us? Easy Embercleave, right? No, they're going to play more creatures. Good. Good. They don't have a Castle Embereth yet. They steal my Opt. They steal another Opt. What the heck is wrong with this Shuffler? This Shuffler is the dumbest invention. The absolute dumbest invention. If they have Castle Embereth, they win, right? Right. You got it? No, not that card. Okay, they only get one token from this sweep. Embercleave. Okay. I still can't draw land. What is the meaning of this? One, two, three, four. I mean, we've been at over 50% to draw land for 5 draw steps. 5! Alright, do we have to Uro here? Is it good enough to make sharks? Like, if I play Wilderness Reclamation and make a shark, is that good enough? I guess we could draw it into something else. If we only Uro here and go up to 7, that technically we're alive, but it's really close. Same with the if we shark. So 4 cards in the graveyard. Yeah. We gotta do it like this. Pro gamer moments. It's gonna take a miracle. It's gonna be an Embercleave almost certainly, so we need to hit a Brazen Borrower, so we only do it for 1. Miss. Probably game. Not quite game. Stick. Shock me. Good job. Good job. But you saw it here, guys. Mana screwed with a 30 land deck. This hand looks good. It looks like we're going to ramp into Storm's Wrath, and we have 4 lands, so we can't possibly miss the 4th land drop. We will try it. I should be excited about this hand. I'm scarred from the day's events. Vessel. Give him the finger. All right. Just kind of a getting poked here. We will shock Sego. Putting this in the graveyard isn't very inspiring. 5/5s are hard to wrath. And we know they're going to be playing like 4 Lurrus, 4 Call the Death Dweller, whatever nonsense. So I'm not in a hurry to kill this. But they have to be able to clock me, or I will start getting very far ahead. Yep, there's Lurry. Here's Spyro, the dragon. Uro. Brazen Borrower, good against Lurrus. As long as I don't sack them both at once. Alright, I was gonna wait till they tried to put something in the graveyard here. They'll just play the Lurrus again though, so let's take it. Better to do it on end step. Yeah, see, they didn't use their mana very efficiently this turn. So this is a good use of our Brazen Borrower to force them to use a bunch of mana next turn. Four cards in the graveyard, so we're probably using a Triome here to draw. The Storm's Wrath, again, is awkward because they bring back a 5/5. Now, I could have just saved... What if I had Storm's Wrath and saved the Borrower for the 5/5? That would have been pretty smart, right? Anyway, for now, let's cycle this. We might draw something worth playing, like an Uro, for example. And Wilderness Wreck. Yes, please. We don't have a great way to abuse it, but it's going to be an important part of whatever we do. There you go. We can Storm's Wrath and Uro here. That's pretty solid. Then the opponent, if they're going to bring back the vessels... Well, man, they can get back 2 vessels is the problem, right? Dude, if they get back 2 vessels, 2 5/5s, how am I even going to deal? I'm not. I'm just gonna... I guess I get to untap and attack with Uro, but I don't get to do much else. I guess I really have to put my faith in my deck. Fair. Alright, faith in the deck it is. The deck will solve the 5/5s. Uro will get me there. All we need is an expansion for the Storm's Wrath, or another Brazen Borrower. Okay, not a Call the Death Dweller. Fortunate. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Opponent's gonna take this one on the chin. Let's Wrath him now. Or we could just expansion this. Yeah, let's Wrath him now. Play you, say go. And if the opponent plays anything cool, we can explosion it. And if they don't, we'll go face next turn. But yeah, they have to start dealing with our board. Here they go. Luris, of course. Three cards this way, so that we still hit land drops and have epic explosion. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll hit land drop. I should know better. I should know better. Alright, get him. And yes, I'm perfectly fine with the Brazen Borrower being blocked. If the opponent takes this, they're just dead, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plus 9, 14. Yeah. They go to 13 if they take the hit. They're really thinking about it. Or they're roping me. Hard to tell. Sometimes. There's the block. Doesn't want to die. Alright, Wrath him. There was like no good way out, but the opponent doesn't know that. I kind of know how they might feel. Where it's like, either way is bad. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Shark it up, baby. Call the Death Dweller, get the Luris. Then Arc Fiend, get the 5/5, sure. 5, 6, 7, 8. Mega Shark. It's bigger than the 5/5. Everyone's like, I did my thing, I got a 5/5. I'm like, I did my thing and sharked you into oblivion. But I'm not letting you concede. QQ, QQ. You can draw the cards if you let this resolve. And that's the game. And we are back for the post-game wrap-up. Who knew? Who knew you could get mana screwed with a 30 land out of 60 card deck? But you can. We proved it. Can also flood. In fact, I would say we lost one game to each. I would say I also lost a game to being bad at Magic, and I lost a game to Mono Red because they had a very good draw. So that is to be expected. You're never going to win all your matches. My run with 16 wins and 1 loss is not normal. It feels amazing when it happens, but it's not even close to normal. And I too usually lose several games in a row as I'm getting used to playing a deck. So in before the comments say, crafted this deck, went 0-5, deleted it, YouTuber's idiot waste of time. Yeah, shut up. That's all I can say. Someday you'll know. You'll be all-seeing, all-knowing. Someday you too will have Yoda Zen in your life. But for now, yeah, I think it is, if you want to play an interesting combo control deck in best of 1, if you want TEMUR Rec to make the jump from best of 3 where it dominates to best of 1 where it's an afterthought, I would start with a list like this. And if you want to pull a few land out because 30 land is disgusting to you, I do understand. I have trouble doing it, playing 30 land myself. But I think it's right. I think this is right on the edge of what you want to be running, and there's a few spots that might get changed, but for the most part, here's a deck for you. Also, another shout out to MTG Assistant. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to let people support the channel by checking out this awesome new assistant tracker tool, which I'm going to be using here on the show into the future, forever and ever. Very professional, by the way. Cool kids, leave me a comment. Say you are good looking and professional. That's how I'll know you stayed till the end. And it's of course tongue-in-cheek. You know why. But please download MTG Assistant from Overwolf and AetherHub in the link in the description below, and the link I'm going to try to remember to leave in comments and pin in comments so you see it. And it supports the channel, something you can do for free to support the channel, because this is totally free. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.